Hey folks, have you had a project that you wanted to work on where you had to do some plumbing around the house or in your shop, and when you go to get your cement, your glue, you find out that it's gone hard or it's gone bad on you? Well, stick around. I'm going to show you a quick and easy fix for that, where you can go ahead and you can make this seal a whole lot better, this can, so when you go back for your next project, you're going to have good glue to glue your pipes together rather than having to run to the hardware store and get a new can of primer and glue. So stick around and I'm going to show you how to take and make it so that when you have your next project you have to work on with some PVC or CPVC tubing, when you go to get your can, your glue's not going to be hard. Now this happens a lot. Here's the can of primer I've been using, and it doesn't have a seal. I'm not going to tip it upside down because it'll spill out, but as you can see, it's been spilling out, and the primer's the worst. But over time what happens is that this stuff will dry out because air gets into the can, and if you can't stop the air from getting into the cans, this stuff is going to harden and it's going to evaporate. Now when it comes from the factory, if you take and you look at this, you can see that in here they put a little silicone seal in there, but that's not enough. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy fix to take care of that problem. Okay, so what we're going to need is we're going to need one of two things. Now, you can maybe find some other kind of material that will work good, but this is a piece of gasket material. Now, you can use something like that, but it's kind of solid. It will work and it will seal, but I prefer and I like better to find an old rubber tube and to cut out a gasket out of this old rubber tube and put it in the lid, and that will seal it because it's a little thicker and a little more pliable. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Alright, so I've cut out my rubber tube, and what I want to do is I want to go ahead and split it so I can work with it easier. And then what I'm going to do is lay this thing out and take my cap and put it down on here, and I'm going to draw around that, okay? You can use a permanent marker. I just happen to have this red one, and we're just going to draw around there. This is very simple. It doesn't take a lot of, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this. You're going to you're going to make that circle just like that. Now that's just a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the line on this rubber, okay, and that will make it fit right inside that lid. Now you're probably thinking, well, how are you going to get that over that little foam thing? But I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. You know, if you're like me, you know, you come back and you get a can of your glue, and you've only used it for a couple of projects, and you've got a half a can or you've got 3/4 of a can left, and when you go back to get it, it's been sitting for 3 or 4 months and it's all dried out, or it's not usable and it's not pliable and good to use. Okay, now I've cut that little disc out, and I'm going to cut a piece out of the center so that'll go down in there. And there again, that's pretty easy to do. I just want to take and kind of eyeball my center point. You can get real technical if you want, and you can put an X there and do that. But all I'm going to do now, because it doesn't, I'm only really concerned with the outer ½ inch here. I don't really care how good this is. I'm just doing this to fit this rubber disc that I make in this rubber gasket down over that. So I'm just going to take now and just cut. I folded that over. I'm just going to cut that out of that rubber like that. Pop that out of there. And I'm a little off, but that doesn't really matter because I got plenty of room. We're going to fit that rubber down in there just like so. And if you like that, the way that's fitting, then you're good to go. Let's try this out. I'm going to put this on our can, and screw it down, and we're going to see if it leaks. Alright, let's check this out and see if it's going to leak. Look at that. Now that is sealed up really good, and no air is going to get in there, and this is not going to evaporate. This won't harden, but it will evaporate. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my can of glue and make sure that it doesn't leak, and by doing so I'm going to be good all the way, and when I come back to my project I won't have any hardened glue. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing now with my cement. I'm going to go ahead and make a gasket for it, and that way when I come back and I get my glue and my cement and my primer out to do my next project, it's going to be good to go, and this will not be, I don't have anything in there now for, but you can see it, that's kind of the way I want this paste, this glue, but it has started to harden some, so I'm going to do the same thing here. If you can see, there's no gasket on there, and they just got that rubber silicone seal, and that doesn't do it, folks, because if you know as well as I do, you let that sit around for 3 or 4 months, especially in the summer, that can of glue is just going to go hard on you. So try this out, and it's sure going to save you time and money in the long run. This can of glue right here, you can get the glue and the primer together in a kit at your box store, your hardware store, and they run around $10 to $12. So when you have to start throwing these things away, especially if you're a plumber, it costs you money. So that's just a quick tip with a quick fix. So thanks for tuning in for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you have any comments, make comments to us. We'd appreciate it. And subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.